Hey everybody, welcome to your first Digital Learning Day video. Today you guys are going to learn about areas of squares and rectangles. Now, luckily, majority of us already know what the area formula for a rectangle is, so I want you to go ahead and pause the video and write down what you think the area formula for a rectangle is. All right, hopefully you guys have written down your guess for the area of a rectangle. Now, we all know that area for a rectangle is going to be length times width. So let me write that out. I'm going to write it out in word form, and then I'll rewrite it in variable form. So area equals length times width, and so in variable form, that's A equals LW. Now remember, side by side, you multiply. So seeing two variables side by side next to each other means multiplication. Now, the area formula for a square is going to be slightly different, and that is mainly because of the speciality of a square. So when you think of square, what do you think of? So you should have said that all four sides of a square are the same. And that's really where the area formula for a square comes from. So let me go ahead and write that down. Area for a square is going to be side squared. Okay, and remember that side squared is the same thing as side times side. Okay, so that's it in word form. And now let me write it in variable form. So A equals S squared, which is the same thing as S times S. And the reason being is that when you look at a rectangle, you see two completely different side lengths. That's the whole purpose of a rectangle, is that one side is longer than the other. But with a square, all sides are the same. So for rectangles, two sides are different. You have two different side lengths. Therefore, you need two different variables to represent the two numbers that you're seeing. But squares, all sides are the same length. And so you only have one number that you're working with, hence the one variable of side. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to do the first couple of problems with you, and then your job is to finish the rest of the page, okay? So the very first thing you should always be doing is you should always be writing your formula. So for a rectangle, that's going to be A equals length times width. Now, then you want to just go variable by variable and plug in the number for what you know. Well, starting with A for area, we don't know what the area is yet. So we're just going to rewrite A because we are looking for that. We don't know what that is. And then I like to think of the longest piece being my length. And so I'm going to plug in 12 for length, which means width will be 8. So area equals 12 times 8. And you can switch those two around. It doesn't really matter because all you're doing is multiplying them. So 12 times 8 I know is 96. So that's my answer. So up in the top, I'm going to write A equals 96, but 96 what? Don't forget your units. So 96 centimeters. And when you're writing area problems and you're answering for area, it's going to be squared. So 96 centimeters squared. You're going to have that little 2 up in the top corner. Always, anytime you're talking about area, it's always going to be that. So looking at problem number 2, we have a square. So I'll show you what it looks like with the square formula. So A equals S squared, which we know is the same thing as A equals side times side. I know my side length is 10. So area equals 10 times 10, which we know is 100. Now, I know that's a whole lot of steps. You don't always have to do all of that, but I do want to see the work being shown. So area equals 100, don't forget your units, centimeters squared. Always remember that squared up in the very, very top. So your responsibility is to finish the rest of this page, including the explain. You can use area equals length times width or area equals S squared to find the area of a square, but you can't use both to find the area of a rectangle. Why? If you go back to the beginning of the video, I gave you a little hint to that to help you answer this question. So scroll back to the beginning of the video, and that should help you answer this question. I'll be in my office hours from 10:30 to 12. Hopefully, if you have any questions, you'll stop by and ask them. But thanks, guys. Good luck.